Hey everybody. I just got finished watching a message about creation, really. And it was all about science and the universe and all that kind of stuff. And it was very interesting, but the pastor didn't crack open a Bible. So I cracked open a Bible, as I'm one to do. And I'm not gonna blast the pastor or the church on social media or YouTube or anything, because I respect this pastor and this church, and I'm just gonna leave it alone. But I am gonna give a little mini message about how the universe was created and its creator. And here we go. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and now the earth was formless and empty, and darkness was over the surface of the deep, and God was hovering over the waters. Now, in Genesis 1 and 2, God, it tells us God created the heavens and the earth. If you've been in church for any length of time, you know that someone's going to tell you this. But there's really no concept of time here. Because what is time to God? A day is like a million years. So if there's no concept of time, then we really don't know how long it took, other than it says, going on, it says, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and it separated the light from the darkness, and called it day, and called the darkness night. And there was evening, and there was morning, and that was the first day. But we still have no concept of time. Now, if you look down to verse 16, I think. Well, we'll start in 15. Genesis 1:15. And let them be lights in the vault of the sky, and let the sky give the lights to the earth, and it was good. And give light to the sky, and it was so. And God made the two great lights, the greater light to govern the day, and the lesser light to govern the night. He also made the stars and set them in the vault of the sky. This is day 4. So we really didn't have any concept of earthly celestial time until day 4. Because if we didn't have a celestial time and day and night until day 4, then the earth could have been created over millions of years. Because, like I said, it says in the Bible, a day is like a million years to God. Now, what does all of this have to do with us? Well, Genesis starting in 124, God said, let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, the livestock and the creatures move along the ground, and the wild animals according to its kind. And it was so. God made wild animals according to their kinds, and livestock according to their kinds, and all the creatures move along the ground and to their kinds, and saw it was good. Then God said, let us make mankind in our image. It's very important. God is not a unit. God is not one being. God is not one being. He is multiple beings. Let us make man in our image and in our likeness, so that he may rule over the fish and the sea and the birds of the sky and the livestock and all of the wild animals, all over the creatures that move along the ground. So God created mankind in his own image. So here we see not only is God more than one person, we see that God is and has been and always will be a him. Because it says, and this is the NIV Bible, and I'm using this because the print is bigger and I've got bad eyes. If God created man in his own image, that means God is a man. He may not have a physical body, but he is a him. Now, I'm going to skip the part where they get kicked out of the garden, and I want to turn all the way over to Acts. And it says in Acts 28, it says in Acts 17:28, for in him we live and move and have our being, as some of your poets have said. This was said by a great poet in Athens. A great philosopher, Maimonides. And Luke, the writer of Acts, wrote it and put it in the Bible and kind of stole it to use for God. But he did give him credit, as some of your poets have said. So, we are his offspring, is the rest of the verse. Therefore, since we are God's offspring, again, we are God's offspring. Let's stop there. If we are God's offspring, that gives us a purpose. Because we are never called, because as offspring does, we are supposed to mimic our Father. When your kids get to a certain age, all they want to do is be around adults and learn more about adults. And we should be doing the same here. We should be studying our Bibles and reading our Bibles and learning more about God, as much about God as we possibly can. because we are his offspring. As a kid, all I wanted to do was be like my Grandpa Boyer. Because I felt close to him as a child does his father. Now, he wasn't my father. I've got a great father. And I am very proud to be a little bit like him too. But I'm more like my grandpa than I am my father. That's why his death was so hard on me. But anyway, if we are God's offspring, then like I said, we should try to mimic him and read the Bible and focus on the Bible. And it doesn't really matter which version you use, for the most part. I'm not going to really get into that, but you can talk to another pastor and find out which version they want you to use and discover that for yourself, because you're a human being and you can form your own opinion. But we are set on earth to glorify God. That is our job. We are set on earth to glorify him because we are his offspring. And without him, we wouldn't exist. He is the divine creator of the universe. And all kinds of arguments have been made over the years over God existing and not existing. And the thing is, I don't have enough faith. It takes a lot of faith to be an atheist. I don't have enough faith to believe that because of a random gaseous fart in the universe, we now exist. I just don't have enough faith for that. I do have enough faith to believe what's written down and recorded in history and has been existing in time and space for millennia. This book, the Bible, another version of the Bible, my amplified version of the Bible, and this book, and the other book I have, all the Bibles I have existed. What they represent has lasted all throughout history. It's been recorded, it's been disputed, but it still exists. It is our divine love story. And as creatures of the King, we should glorify him. Not because I tell you to, or some pastor tells you to, but because you breathe, you move and breathe and have your being in God. And he allows you to move and breathe and have your being. So we should glorify in that. And if you don't glorify in the fact that you move and breathe and have your being in God, then your whole life you're casting your pearls before swine. To paraphrase a proverb. I don't think that's what the proverb was getting at, but I'm stealing from a proverb to make a point. You see, if we don't glorify God now as humans with time on earth right now, we will one day do it forcibly. And then it'll be too late. You can either do it while you're breathing, or you can forever wish you had in hell. And this is running really long, so I'm going to wind it up here. Just by saying that over and over and over in the Bible, God says, it says several things. One, it says, I think it says in the Old Testament somewhere that we don't have to have a special place to worship God. Any place there's dirt, any place there's a foundation of dirt, we can worship God there. So do so at every possible moment, because you never know what day is going to be your last. Have a nice day. God bless. And take some time to thank about and thank your Creator before it's too late.